Welcome back, llamas. Check out my new purple llama. Sorry, video people, you can't see it. This is triangle conditions, student handout 5. This is our last thing on triangles, and it's kind of summing up everything. So this at the top of your page, we're going to be using in our chart below that. So when I say look at the triangles above, this is what you're going to be looking at. Okay? So here are the 4 laws of triangles. 2 of them we've already learned. 2 we're about to learn and are pretty easy. Okay? So the first law we're looking at is when a triangle gives us 3 side lengths. And when a triangle gives us 3 side lengths, we learned this yesterday. Look back on your student handout 4. What theorem did we learn yesterday? Student handout 4, we learned a theorem.
Angle sum.
That is not the, it clearly says angle, so is it dealing with side lengths? I need, says the word theorem in it. I don't need the definition, I need the theorem, the title of it.
Triangle inequality.
Triangle inequality theorem. And what that was is where we had a small plus a medium had to be bigger than our big. A small plus the big had to be greater than the medium. And the big and the medium had to be bigger than the small. Okay, so make sure you have this down. This is a wonderful chart to be able to go back and look at. I would write those inequalities down too. That way it's all in one place. Okay, and when it passed all 3 of those inequalities, it formed one unique triangle. Okay, look at the triangles above the chart. Do you see a triangle where 3 sides were given? Yes. What is that triangle's name? What? DFE. So DFE, pretty sure they gave us 3 angles. I asked for 3 side lengths. GHI has 3 side lengths. So I want to sketch a small sketch of triangle GFI. It had 12 here, 6 here, and 7 centimeters over here. It gave us 3 sides. To know if those are true sides of a triangle, I have to test it with the triangle inequality theorem. Which means I have to test it with these inequalities. So I'm going to add the 6 plus the 7, and it's got to be greater than 12. Is 6 plus 7 greater than 12? Yes. So I'll check that off. You're writing this as well. Then I'm going to do a 6 plus 12 has to be greater than the 7. Is 6 plus 12 greater than 7? Yes. Then I need 12 plus 7 has to be greater than 6. Is that greater than 6? Yes. Yes. Did all 3 work? Yes. So that tells me those can be sides of a triangle. Nobody will be too long and nobody will be too short. Okay, we learned that yesterday. The next one is new to us, and it's when 2 sides and an angle is given. Do you see above an example of where 2 sides and an angle is given?
Oh, yes.
What triangle is it? JKL? Okay, JKL. So let's sketch that triangle. And it had 12, 12, and this was 40 maybe? Was that 40 in the middle?
Yes, 40 degrees.
40 degrees in the middle. So what this law says, it's a very easy law, says if you have two sides and the angle is included in those two sides, see how those two sides are kind of eating up that angle? It's not down here at the bottom. I'll wait until you're paying attention. Are these two sides, see how the angle's in the middle of the two lines? If it was down here, would it be in the middle of those two lines? No. So it's the included angle. When you have two sides and an included angle, it will form a unique triangle. And there's no math to prove it. As long as you have a side, angle, side, you're good to go. So this will form a perfect triangle. Two sides with an included angle. Okay, the next one says two angles and one side. Do you see an example above that has two angles and one side?
ABC.
ABC? Okay, let's sketch that. I'm a terrible sketcher. I think this is 112 and then 32. And then how, 6? I haven't asked that.
122.
Oh, it's 122? 122. Okay, that's triangle ABC. And what this law says, if they give you two angles and one side, those two angles need to add up to less than 180. Why would two angles add up to less than 180? How many angles are in a triangle? 3. And 3 angles of a triangle adds up to what? 180. So why does 2 angles have to add up to less than 180?
So the third angle.
So the third angle could exist. If I needed some angle left over to make the third angle. So if the 2 angles add up to less than 180, it will make a unique triangle. So let's test it. We have angle 122 plus 32. What does that give me? 154. Is that less than 180?
Yes.
So could this make a proper triangle?
Yes.
Yes, it could.
Doesn't it look like the power's out in the hall? Looks dark.
Okay. The last law we've already learned. 3 angles. When 3 angles is given, how much does that have to add up to? 180. It has to add to 180. And that is known as the angle sum theorem. I see some people not writing. Do you see an example above where they gave us 3 angles?
Yes. F, D,
D, E, F, and I think it's 56, 58,
54, 58.
54. 58 and then 68. That thing annoys me so much. Let me restart here. It read 54, 58, and then 68, right? Okay, those have to add up to how much? 180. Does it equal 180?
Yes.
54 plus 58 plus 68 equals 180. So can that form a triangle? Okay, here's where the issue comes into play. All right? Do you think that here's triangle DEF. You see my triangle DEF. See it on my board?
Yes.
Is that triangle the exact same size triangle of what's on your paper?
Close to it.
All right, here's your paper. I hold it up. Here's your triangle. Here's my triangle. Is it the exact same size? Are the angles the exact same size? Yes. But I have two different size triangles. I could make this even larger. Then I have another size triangle. I could shrink it, and I have another size triangle. But they all have the same size angle measures. Are the lines the same size? No. Just the angles. So what that tells me is, if they give me 3 angle measures, I can have more than one triangle created. Because did they give me any rules on how long the line had to be? No. Another example. What kind of angle did I just draw there? A right angle, which is how many degrees? 90. What kind of angle is that? Right. Are they the same lengths? No. The lines are different lengths, but they both have how many degrees? 90. Okay? So 3 angles make more than one triangle if it equals 180. All right, so let's go to the other side and practice. The first chart is talking about side lengths. So looking at the chart I just filled in, side lengths have to follow those inequalities. Well, so I do 7 plus 8 has to be bigger than 9. Is 7 plus 8 bigger than 9?
Yes.
Yes, so I'm going to keep going. Now I'm going to do 7 plus 9. Is that bigger than 8? Yes. Now what's left? 8 plus 9, is that bigger than 7?
Yes.
Okay. It passed all 3 inequalities. So can these 3 line lengths form a triangle? Okay. How many? 1, no triangle, or more than 1 triangle. It forms 1 unique triangle.
Assume that it's a triangle. Once you solve the first problem, you don't need to do the rest.
Sometimes you just watch. All right. Testing number 2. I have 1.5 plus 3 has to be greater than 1.5. Is 1.5 plus 3 greater than 1.5?
Yes.
True. Okay. Now I'm going to do 1.5 plus 1.5. That has to be greater than 3. What is 1.5 plus 1.5?
3.
3.
3.
Is 3 greater than 3?
No.
So that failed. I don't even need to bother doing the third inequality because I know now how many triangles are formed.
0.
No triangle is formed. Try number 3 and 4, and then we'll come back together and check it. Alright, so number 3 we said was no triangle because 4 plus 2 was not greater than 8. And then number 4, Aubrey, what is that?
One unique triangle.
1 unique triangle, because what's 5 plus 5?
10.
10. Is 10 greater than 5?
Yes.
Then 5 plus 5 is? 10. Is 10 greater than 5? Yes. So I can keep going. Alright. Now I'm moving to the next box. Now we're looking at angles. Angles must add up to how much? 180. So on number 5, us have a 70, a 90, and a 20. Jake, I'm up here. What is 70 plus 20?
90.
90. What's 90 plus 90?
180.
So I know this equals 180, so I can put that in. How do I know how many triangles are formed? Look at your chart.
2. It'd be 1 unique triangle.
Look at your chart for where it says 3 angles. When 3 angles are given and it equals 180, how many triangles can be formed?
More than 1.
More than 1 triangle can be formed. Because I can make that triangle whatever size I want. It can have long lines or it can have short lines, as long as all the angles stay the same. Okay, number 6, I need to see how much that equals. 55 plus 45, that gives me 100. Then 100 plus 75 is,
175.
so this equals 175. Does it equal 180?
No, ma'am.
So I'm going to say it does not equal 180. So how many triangles are formed? No triangle. Okay, you tried 7 and 8. Alright, number 7. What we got, Hakeem? How many triangles is formed? None. And why none? What did y'all get it adding up to?
180.
It added up to 180. So how many triangles are formed?
More than 1.
More than 1 triangle.
I can do number 8. I can do number 8. Follow me today.
Hunter, what do you got?
So 39, 87, 55,
Yeah?
it's more than 1 triangle?
What did it add up to?
180.
181. It's got to add up to exactly 180 or it's no triangle. So this is no triangle. Excuse me, they can't hear me over you. Okay? Number 9 is on every LEAP test I've seen. This could bump you up to the next level. Scoring. So pay attention. It says 2 sides of a triangle have lengths of 7 and 15. They want us to find the third side. So I'm just going to draw a random triangle. I'm going to say this is the side 15. This is 7. And I don't know what that is, so I'm going to call it X. Don't we call it a variable if I don't know what it is? Okay? And these are side lengths. So it follows the triangle inequality theorem.
C.
So, I need to have my 3 inequalities. So I'm going to set up my 3 inequalities. I know 15 plus 7 has to be greater than who?
X.
X. I know that 15 plus X has to be greater than 7. And I know that 7 plus X has to be greater than 15. There's my 3 inequalities. Stop. So, I need to see how big x can be. Well, looking at this, I have a 15 plus a 7. What does that give me?
22.
22. But that inequality to me is written backwards. I like to see variables first. And it's eating the 22, the alligator, so I want to still make it eat 22. So this says, so far, that x has to be less than 22. Okay? So I know it has to be smaller than 22. Then I look at my next inequality. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, I really don't even care what x is because I already know this has got to be true because isn't 15 greater than 7?
Yes.
So I know this one has to be true, so I really don't care about that inequality. Then this last one, I look at it and I'm like, well, I see a parent, a kid, and a different house, don't you?
Yes.
How do I get the parent by itself?
You
Subtract 7, the kid from both sides. You should be writing this. And I'm left with x has to be greater than what? 8. So these two have now given me all the information I need. I know that x has to be smaller than 22, but bigger than who? 8. So what option tells me that?
D?
Or A.
8 and 22. A is the only one that has an 8 and a 22. That what?
Hey, you like my aliens?
No, you're annoying.
Tim.
Was that challenging?
No.
No clue.
Okay, well you're about to have one just like it. Let's look at number 10. Says three angles cannot, or which three angles cannot make a triangle? What must three angles add up to? 180. So I need to add all these together and see which ones do not equal 180. Ari can look at this one and say that adds up to exactly 180, right? What about A? What does that add up to? 180. So that's not it. I want the one that cannot make a triangle. So which one is it?
B.
It is B.
That was easy.
You have 10 minutes, which means you should not have homework, because that is plenty of time to finish the homework 5 sheet.
What's the 5?
Yes. So, thanks for listening. Have a great day. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and peace out, llamas.
No,